All right, so now we've arrived at the resolution. And the truth is, like I said, if you've gotten to the resolution, you get to the part here where you've done everything and you've maintained standards, this is going to be the easy part, which is really nice. And you'll know that you've arrived here when you and the person you're speaking to can accurately say what the other person wants and feels to their satisfaction. So when you get to the point where you can go, okay, I think I understand what you're saying. Is it fair to say that you feel X, Y, and Z and you would like me to do A, B, and C in the future? And they say yes. And you go, okay, do you understand my perspective on this? Do you understand how I feel and what I would like? And they go, yes, you would like da-da-da-da and you feel like blah, blah, blah. At that point, when you can accurately do that and both say yes to one another, now it's resolution time. This is the easy part where you just set up an action for the future. What is going to change? Sometimes it's as simple as an apology. Typically speaking, you want to be the one who is coming up with options when there's a number of ways to deal with it. When it's something like they'd like you to apologize, perhaps you just apologize. But if it's a situation like the one that I just gave you, which is, okay, you're at work, this is one that I had, I was sending files to my boss as fast as I could, but they were not like really nicely formatted. And that's not something that I'm good at. I'm not someone who is a detail-oriented person. So I'm sending in these files, they're not client ready, he doesn't like it, that upsets him. What do? I want to be the one controlling the options. So at this point I would go, okay, how about this? I see like basically three ways we can do this. One is that I can send you it the way that you just described. With you said you wanted the titles like this, you wanted the coloring like this, you wanted me to double check the numbers to make sure they were right. All of that's probably going to take another hour on top of what I've done. So it would take another hour. So from when you request to when I actually get it to you would be that extra hour. We can do that and it would take a little bit longer, but you'd get it the way that you like. Second is I can keep doing it like I am. You'll get it on time, but it won't have those things, and maybe the client, deals with it, or it's not a problem. And then third is maybe there's someone else here that, can do this faster than me, or who can just do the formatting part, and I can send it over to them, and maybe they can get it to you in a half hour. I'm not sure. But those are the three things I think that get you what you want. Which of those do you like the best? And in that way, you're framing the options for only things that are possible for you, things that you're willing and able to do, but you're letting them pick. And that is very, very powerful because you're framing options that you would be satisfied with any one of those, that you're capable of doing any one of those, and then you're giving them the power to pick. That is so incredibly powerful. It's going to make them feel so much better about how it went because they've gotten to exert some influence over the end result. And that's going to be basically the way that you want to resolve most of these conflicts. You scope the options and then give them the power to choose. Very, very powerful concept to keep in mind when you do get here to the resolution. I just want to give one more example here because I think that this lines up really, really well with the mindset of don't change filter. And I want to hammer home exactly how. So for an example, let's say that you have a friend who is a bad drunk and you don't like a lot of the things that they do, but maybe one thing you can't stand is that they drive when they're drunk. If they drink and drive, that for you is just unacceptable behavior. And you have this whole conversation, you keep them on track, they try to change the scope, well, you do this, you keep them on track and you get to this point, right? And they've expressed kind of a willingness to change, but you're not certain that they will, and they're unwilling to really commit to anything. Give them freedom at the end, right? With the same thing with options, you're giving a litany of things for them to choose from, and that's what you need to do here. This is not going to be a litany, this is going to be two, and this is basically what I would say to this person if things are deal breakers in your life, which is, listen, I don't control you, you can do whatever you want, you can drink however much you want, you can handle that however you want, that's your life. I just want you to know that if you drink and drive and it comes to my attention, I am going to end our relationship. I will no longer be your friend. I won't have anything to do with you. So you can make that decision on your own, but I just want you to know what's going to happen. This is very different from what most people do, which is try to tell people you can't do that. If you do that, you're going to be blah, blah, blah. They try to threaten, they try to control. Much, much stronger is just spell out the consequences. List the options. Give people the freedom to choose. Whatever you want to do, it's your life. You've got complete control. But I want you to know beforehand how I'm going to react if you take different sorts of paths here. If you drink and drive, we're done. Right? If you do this to me that I don't like, it's over. When you get to that point, you're going to have someone who has all the freedom in the world, but whenever they do make a decision that allows you guys to still be friends, say this person goes, you know what? I've got an issue, I'm going to get it handled, I'm going to go get help, thank you for this. That relationship will be much stronger for it because they have internalized the reason to do it. They had the freedom to choose, and they chose. When you tell someone, like a kid or a girlfriend, they have to, and they stay, faithful to you, or the kid does the chores because they have to, as soon as you're out of there, as soon as you're not looking, they're going to go back to doing it their way because that was your choice forced onto them. If you give them the freedom and spell out the consequences, they'll make their own decision, and it will actually stick for much longer.